Zay Frank, the CEO and founder of Star.me, another social startup. Zay, do we really need another social startup?
Yes.
Don't we have enough already?
No, it's absolutely crucial.
Why?
Well, I mean, it's kind of like, do we need another flavor of Dum Dum lollipops? You know, there's a lot of flavors. Yes, absolutely. You know, what if root beer hadn't been invented? Halloweens would be terrible. I think that, you know, in this space, there's a lot of different aspects to the social experience that can be highlighted. I mean, if you think about it as like a landscape of possible, you know, emotional and social needs that people have, you can't really broadly focus on all of them. And so, you know, there's different aspects that different companies focus on, and in our case, what we're really focused on is a very particular gesture, which is appreciating other people.
And that's not done?
That's not done. It's not done enough.
So explain.
How would you appreciate someone? If you wanted to tell somebody in a way that you felt was impactful, how would you do it?
Well, I probably wouldn't do it on the internet.
Ah, exactly. Yeah, it's very, very difficult. I think it's part of one of the challenges that's really interesting to me is that virtual spaces don't lend themselves very well to a set of emotions. I think
especially publicly, right?
Publicly?
Yeah.
In what way?
Well, if you feel strongly about someone, love or affection or perhaps even hatred, it's not necessarily the kind of emotion you want to express in front of other people.
Yeah, I think you're potentially right. I think that there's another side to it. I mean, certainly like when we talk about very large displays of emotion, I don't know if there's any format besides like close personal ones that are appropriate. But there's a whole range of emotions which I come across folks talking about where they say, you know, listen, if I want to apologize to someone or if I even just want to just make them feel good, I worry that I'm going to be misrepresented in some way by texts and all these kinds of things where because we're kind of consolidating meaning into very, very small chunks, there's a lot of room for misinterpretation and things like that. And that's kind of one of the challenges that I think is really important to tackle, which is I don't think that a lot of virtual spaces are very easy to navigate when you're talking about fear, when you're talking about just gratitude, apologies, and all those things. And it's going to take some work and some very specific kinds of work to make places where that comes to life.
So Star.me is a real messaging platform. Is that one way of thinking of it?
A real messaging platform? Well, I would call it right now. It's a play space. It's sort of a social game meets a social network, where the main action is appreciating other people, giving other people things. So, you know, how people use it can be very varied. Some people play it as a game. Some people use it in a very, very particular way, which is, like you said, you know, real communication. There's, you know, employees that are kind of like using it as a way to have an employee-driven employee of the week. I received this wonderful note to tech support from a young teenage girl who was just freaking out because she needed an apology star right away. And I wrote back and I was like, how many do you need? And she was like, a lot. So there's people that are using it in that very, very super directive way. But yeah, we've learned quite a bit from it to isolate a whole bunch of pockets of interaction that are hard to get at.
And for people watching this who want to get on, it's still a closed beta.
It is a closed beta, yes. It is a closed beta. We're going to, for this show actually, we'll open it up to a few hundred people if they're watching.
So for those watching, how do they get on?
On the front right-hand bottom corner of the main page, you can enter the passcode beta invite, pretty creative, and your email, and we'll send you an invite to the system.
And you need to mention TechCrunch?
And you do. You have to. Your first star has to be to an employee of TechCrunch.
I don't know if they have any.
I think they need to.